So first thing was they added 2 4-man raids. Same item level as Kazaros for the one that's coming out, which I thought was a nice touch. And then they changed one thing I thought was pretty interesting, and I don't know if this is correct. There's no more enraged healing feature. I think in general, this is a much better design of the game. I think that's just better. I think if you're able to survive the enrage, then you should be able to kill the boss, right? There's a lot of times, I think that's a good feature, right? Where like you just don't meet the damage check, but you're like, hey, we can survive this. I think they should do that. And I thought that was a really, really good thing. I liked it a lot. So 2 4-man raids. Honestly, I thought about it more and more. I definitely just prefer to do 4-mans. It's so much easier to play with my small friend group. It's hard to get 8 people together. So 4-man raids, I think it's a W. 2 of them is pretty cool. The new one, I guess like some Gooner feature. Also, I thought this is nice. They added a sellable broom drop. So this, from my understanding, that the boss drops a broom, but when you loot it, you can post it on the auction house and it can be sold for actual gold. So stuff like that, I think, is a good thing to add, like incentive to doing raids in the future, cosmetics, and then you can make some money off something rare. And they should add more rare items from things. And rather than just doing an auction, I think it's better. So stuff like that, I think, is good. The new world boss design, I could probably pull it up. So I also, if you remember, I wrote up all of these things. So I wrote up the things that I thought they were going to do. A lot of things I thought they were going to touch on, they didn't. The things that I wanted them to do, they did touch on some of them. So that was the day before LOAON. They have a new world boss system, which I thought was pretty cool. One thing I wrote up on the write-up was that I wanted them to do more of a reinvestment into the world of the game. They didn't hit it like, you know, whatever, but there's like a new world boss thing. I don't know where the fuck it is, but there's a giant ass world boss that you fight, and it's once a week, which I'm not actually I wish it was more than once a week. Kind of, for me, that goes along with like trying to reduce the amount of things in the game, but it makes it a bigger event. So some people probably fuck with the idea that it's like a once a week thing. I prefer it to be like more than once a week, but I think it's cool that they're revisiting world bosses. Probably my favorite thing was just them adding new sailing content update for new zones and revamping the sailings in that area. They didn't go into a lot of detail, and I'll talk about that more later, but I thought that was pretty cool. That was something that I wrote down on my list. New horizontal content, I'll never do it, but there's like a new hitman list thing. I can appreciate them trying to do some new horizontal system that's like focused on killing people or something. That's not just like Assassin's Creed hit list thing. I don't know where the fuck it was, but probably somewhere there. So that was pretty cool. I thought it was a nice touch. Maybe I can find it for the screen here. This is the new, I think this is the new sailing areas. Fuck with it. This is the world boss thing. Looks like it's like a giant fucking, this looks like what's the dragon? Behemoth. Okay. This is the new horizontal thing. Again, I'm never going to do it, but looks kind of interesting, and it looks better than the other ones I've done in the past. So maybe I'll fuck with it. We'll see what it comes up with. Revamp the new player experience. A lot was done here. So a lot prior to LOAON with just the revamping of the leveling, but also just a lot with their new quest feature thing where you get progression stuff. They did a bunch with the new player system to make it a little bit like more intuitive, less confusing, and then the streamlined leveling I thought was pretty good. And that's what I should have wrote down. The express I wrote down, I'll talk about that more in a little bit, but I think that was also really good. And usually, I don't know how I feel about this yet, but overall, I thought the new player experience system was pretty good, because usually that's where they switch back and forth from. They do a LOAON based on like end game player stuff, and they do a LOAON based on like new player stuff. And this was definitely one of those LOAONs where it felt like it was targeted towards new players more than veteran players. And for us, sometimes we can appreciate those types of things because we want new players, but it feels like, well, you're also neglecting what like the game needs overall. Solo Mortem and Brel, good, but no mention of the flex raid, which I thought was a fat L. Like there was no mention of it at all. Solo Mord, Brel, and Mortem I thought was like really cool, but like zero mention of the no flex thing. Didn't even talk about it. I'm like, what the fuck? You brought it up last one. You know what I mean? Kind of weird. Character skill loadout and copy paste. This for me also just gig a new player. Whenever you make a new character, it's really annoying setting up the skills and you're just going based on what they give you, and to just say, hey bro, just copy and paste my code, you can use my build, I think makes the game like way, you know, this is the new leveling UI. It looks like it gives you like mats and rewards. So as you do quests and stuff, you just kind of like gear up your character through that, which I can appreciate for someone that's new that needs to know how to play the game. This is the copy paste shit somewhere here. You can just copy paste the build, and you can also export your code. I thought that was pretty nice. Like Hearthstone has this shit. You can just copy decks, boom, put it in. We could probably use that on our website as well. AI, stone cutting, and other progression systems. I don't know if they only applied the AI to stone cutting, but I remember Wine saying something about honing, where you can like auto do a lot of stuff. I thought that was pretty good. I still think it's like, if it's just on stones, it's kind of weird, but 10x honing. Oh, so you can 10x tap on honing. Yeah, these are great QOLs. Okay. Probably my second favorite thing was the new character gold exchange vendor. So they didn't have any answer to the, I don't even know how this is applicable, to be honest with you. They had zero answer to like the expanding the roster thing. Like, oh, we're just not going to do it, but we're adding this in. I feel like that wasn't really, I think what they were showing was, hey, we have a fat gold inflation problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to add in a system where you can spend more gold and things like that. And it was this one. This to me was probably the second biggest thing they announced for new people, I thought, which was an in-game vendor where you can just buy gems, oreha, accessories that are, they said mid, but these are high. So I don't think it's mid. I think it's a high accessory. And then also a bracelet with the right stats. The reason why I like this is they actually had the forethought to include bound gold. So I'll write up that in a little bit, but this shop I thought was really good. This is something that asked to be in the game for a long time. The reason why this stuff is important is it sets a default market value to a specific item, right? So if something is like capped at a vendor and you can buy it, that means generally it'll lower the price of X goods, like level 7 gems, 20K. Okay, if you can get 5 of them, 20K, and then bracelets, etc. I don't know what the fuck this box is, but there's other tabs as well. But I thought this was pretty good. So somebody that's new can like make their character, do their solo raids, you're earning a lot of bound gold, but you can't get the gear with it, right? You have to go, in my new player guide, I'm like, yo, you got to find ways of making unbound gold so you can start buying the gems, buying the accessories, buying the stuff. That's what I would say. Like, hey, look for ways to make unbound gold, whether it's Chaos Gate, life skilling, or doing the raids or whatever. You're going to have to find ways to do that so you can start progressing in the game, to giving them a good transition point by having a vendor in the game that you can spend the bound gold. I thought it was pretty good. Dragon Knight class looks cooler than I thought. I was kind of drunk during the show. I'm going through all the positive stuff here. I was kind of drunk during the show. I don't know. Hopefully I didn't make a fool of myself, but it looked a lot cooler than I expected, and the class seems super broken. This is like my third favorite thing they added. This is for me, selfishly. Additional raid difficulty. They said they're going to make normal mode and hard mode a bit easier. And then normal mode will be some endgame whale content, which I think innately with the way Lost Ark is designed, there has to be something beyond just normal and hard mode. Like, what's the point? Like, what is the point of gearing up your character? There's no reason to. Everyone's doing the exact same raids, and I think that's bad. Personally, I don't think it's good, in my opinion, to have hard mode and then everybody within the hard mode, because that creates a different expectation amongst hard mode, right? So if you're doing hard mode and then there's somebody that's super fucking geared within the party, he's going to look to play with other people that are around his gear score, right? It's just not good. You don't want to be in a lobby. First of all, it's not fun. Subjectively to me, it's not fun. I don't want to play with someone that's like fucking 2 times as strong as me. It's just not fun. Like, I'm not playing the game, right? But by having that extra difficulty and separating those players, at least the gear expectation amongst hard mode will be more realistic, right? Like, the fact that, like, you know, you do an A gear or you do a new raid and there's this fucking guy that's so much stronger and he's gatekeeping based on what he expects, it's just bad. So there has to be a separation. If you're going to have people push to a higher limit of gear score, because it's not capped, right? The reality is that I'm doing, hard mode Act 4, right? And I'm 1750, right? And then you could be what, 1720? It's like, bro, there's a huge difference between me and you. It's like not even close. So like, people should want to play around where they're at, and they should make normal mode and hard mode easier. Normal mode has been so easy for a long time. I would still say, I don't know if that's I would still say that normal mode for a new player, I watch Sunny all the time, it's still kind of challenging, but it's not anywhere near as challenging as it used to be. I mean, everything is telegraphed. Everything is shown. You know exactly what the fuck is going on. You could just show up, honestly, and like figure it out pretty easily. The live system adjusted. I thought this was a good change as well. Although some stupid motherfuckers are going to say, oh, one rat's going to eat all of the lives. Well, that person needs the lives, right? So like, sometimes I think it's good if someone in the raid may not have the raid down as much as you do. And if they can eat an extra life, I don't need the life. You know, it's the truth though, right? Giving people, let's say Siori comes into the raid, right? Hypothetically, one of my friends, and he doesn't know the mech very well. So he dies there and he loses a life. It's like, nah, bro, you can take the res. I think this is a better system overall for people that need to learn the game better, right? Obviously, if you give everyone 2 lives, that's just stupid as fuck. But letting people share a pool of lives, I think is a better system overall. for the game. Gems are added to Guardians to add value. I thought was pretty decent because Guardians currently have 0 value. They feel bad outside of just doing them. Like, what the fuck is the point of a Guardian? I think they showed it somewhere here. I thought this was nice. Yeah, you have the Astro Gems, but now we have actual gems. So Guardians feel a little bit more, you know, meaningful, right? I think the content, the daily content needs to be added more. They added a new replacement thing at 1730 where it's rotating weekly Guardians with like a new map design. So they said something along the lines of, I don't know, but I remember Wine saying in the translation, and I'll talk about why this is so important in general afterwards, why like I don't remember, or I don't know. But they showed that it's like a mixture of things or something, and now the Guardians rotate weekly, and the map will just be a super small map where you just drop in on it. And they said they're going to reduce some of the patterns and mechs and things like that to make the Guardians just a little bit more like, yeah, it's just like this map over here. You just like drop in, boom, there it is. And you can also see the HP bar now. So I mean, that took fucking forever, but you can finally see how much HP a Guardian has. And I thought that was pretty good. You know what I mean? Gems, rotating Guardians every week so that's more fresh, making the Guardians a little bit less annoying and things like that. Removing Pharaoh and Flare. Yeah. Okay. So we're kind of, I think you guys are starting to understand what's going on here. New Makoko Express. I have a lot of thoughts on this. Personally, I saw on Reddit, people are unhappy that there's a paid track in the Makoko Express. I understand both sides. I think that if for a Korean game, this is pretty standard, especially with MapleStory. Like that's a big competitor for them where you can pay $30 to get like an accelerated track. I don't really innately hate, like, let's say they just gave you whatever they were going to give you. I don't hate that somebody can pay fucking $30-$40 to get a really good deal to catch up faster, right? In MapleStory, it never really felt bad. I was like, oh, I'll buy this. I want to catch up quickly. And I think if it's more cost affordable and you can get good shit from it, I don't hate it. At the same time, I totally understand why someone would be like, well, why don't you just give that stuff for free? Well, then there's always going to be more that they could give. You know what I mean? So it just depends on, like, I think the big tell will be, is the free track just dog shit? Yeah, I think if the free track is what we normally get, it's fine. And if the paid track gives some additional shit, I think it's fine. To me, I'm not saying this is what they should do. I'm just saying I think it's fine because, like, bro, when my friends come into the game, they're always down. Yeah, I'll throw something at the game. Like, what can I throw at the game to get a little bit more accelerated? They will. People do it. But if the free track just sucks dick and then the only good track is the paid track, well then, you know, we'll see. But I think it's okay to offer like level 8 gems and things like that and like better accessories. I think these are the mid-mids, which are slightly better than the vendor highs, which is kind of whatever. But if it's just whatever, then I think it's okay. I think it's fine to offer an accelerated track for people that want to catch up. Okay, so here's my honest take, guys, okay? Looking at all of this is a lot of what I wanted them to follow up on because a lot of what they shared beforehand, I did want them to bring up, which it does seem like over the past year, the game has gone in a much more casual approach. Regardless of that, I still wanted content for people like me because I play the game and I want to enjoy harder stuff too. So I thought the nightmare difficulty was a good thing. And like Saint said, they did a lot of this. And a lot of the things I mentioned on my list, they did touch on. There were some key things that they didn't touch on. And I'll talk about that more in a bit. But the grander philosophical changes were not present or at least not demonstrated well. And I'll talk about that more in a second. Okay? On paper, if I just look at all of this, the LOAON doesn't actually look that bad. I think a lot of, though, what changes it for you guys as a viewer in the West is either it's through improper translation, a language barrier, or what I think is more likely their presentation skills being bad. It missed the mark for a lot of Western players. Sometimes the way you craft your words and how you talk about things has a big impact. And this is why I still think having a good speaker is so important for player sentiment. And I'll give you an example why. Okay, currently they quickly showed a Guardian slide with gems in the loot table. They didn't even talk about it. They just showed it. They just literally showed a screen that had gems on the loot table. That's it. They didn't show it. They didn't talk about it. They didn't mention it. They didn't fucking, okay. And I'm going to spin this for you guys now and how you would have gone Finally, okay? Which is the exact same thing on paper. We understand, this is old Gold River. This is why I was a Gold River fan. This is what made me make the Respect Time video. We understand that the current daily loop doesn't feel that rewarding. Guardians have lost a lot of value over time and are just more annoying to do than exciting. Because of this, we wanted to design the map so it's straightforward. We toned down the mechs and patterns so you can just hop in and have fun. We will also be rotating them every week for a more fun and refreshing feel, including some community favorites. We also decided to add gems to the loot table to provide more value, but we don't think that's enough or what some of you deserve. On top of that, I hear the community concerns about gems. We don't want you to have so many progression systems to worry about, especially as new players who earn so much bound gold. To ease the gems, bracelets, and accessories, we added an in-game vendor where you can buy level 7 gems, high accessories, and even correct stat bracelets for a set price. You can use your bound gold here as well. This will aid you in your journey as a new player, but also help regulate the prices of these items on the market, so when you transition to begin using the market, upgrades should be much more affordable. So this is what I mean on paper. LOAON wasn't that bad. But because of their choice of words, script writing, or translation, the info just never is delivered well at all. Additionally, if I'm being honest, we've seen a lot of players drop off over the past 2 months. And I think Western players wanted a LOAON that was a banger, something that would excite them, or in most cases, excite their friends to come back. A larger structural change in gameplay rather than a casual directional shift. They needed a marketable event, and that is why I think there's a major disconnect between Korean players and NA and EU players. For us, the situation feels more dire, but for them, they just feel kind of chilling. Did you use ChatGPT? Absolutely not. I wrote that myself. I'm telling you, bro, having a good speaker, guys, I'm telling you, I'll go up there and just fucking, let's just have some, guys, I can sell a fucking dead fish. Like, I'm telling you right now, like, it's just how you present things. And what you guys want is, you guys want to feel heard. You guys want them to convey the frustrations that you have, but they don't do that. They don't even talk about the things that are important to you. They might say, oh, all you care about when you're watching it is you get wine saying something. They show a screen. You go, fuck yeah, that's great news. Or they didn't even mention this. And you want them to mention the pain points. You want them to know that you know that the X, Y, or Z has to get changed. So I wrote this myself and literally fucking, I'm not even in bed. I wrote this in bed, right? And so I think that's the big difference. The big difference is that in the West, right now, everyone's like, fuck, bro, how do we get people to come back? How do we get our friends to come back? And the huge difference is the RU roadmap looks pretty mid, right? And I think the roadmap further proves my initial thoughts about Lost Ark content to be true. Kazuros literally released 2 weeks ago, but people are already looking at the roadmap and going, holy fuck. We got 2 raid releases, arguably very good raid releases. But because the content excitement of the raid is so short-lived, and it's like, well, it's fun for a couple weeks, then what? Right? Then what? You need something overarching that ties the game together more so in the meantime. Something that will give you the excitement to play, which is why you guys see people come check out the game. They try out the new class. They do some of the solo raids. They do maybe one of the later raids in a group or something with the Mokoko Bootcamp, and then they leave. So the thing is that's why people just leave, guys, because they're just going to play the fun part and then they don't. There's nothing wrong innately with doing that. You play the content and you get bored, and then people look at them like, oh, why are they leaving? Because they're fucking bored, guys. They've done what they wanted to do. They tried out Dragon Knight. They did all of the solo raids. They might have got some high accessories. Maybe they got a level 8 gem, and they did like some of the things that they wanted to do. And then PoE 2 season comes out and they want to go play PoE 2. And so that innately is just what it's going to be. And so for us, the people that like playing the game, you want to have fun all of the time. You want to be entertained by the game all of the time. You want something that will last longer than a raid tier. You shouldn't look at a roadmap and go, damn, we're not getting a raid for 2 months or whatever the fuck it's going to be. That's too long. Okay, that just means that they spend, I wrote this down, with the Kaz releasing only a few weeks ago, the excitement produced from the amazing raids that they create are too short-lived. And while the event we get in December will probably be very good for new players, the veteran player sentiment has to be good and enough and welcoming enough for new players. That's why we saw a huge surge in the summer for Valkyrie, because we got Paradise. The progression was made easier. Your core fundamental problems that you felt at the time, some of them were being addressed. Some of them, not all, some of them were being addressed. So then you felt better about things. So when somebody asked, you're like, yeah, it's a great time. So for those of you guys that are like down about it, I understand it, because like you want a core fundamental, that you want something that is going to bring back your friend. What the game needs to focus on is doing a good event to bring in new people, and then understand they're going to play the game. They're going to go through the dope shit. They're going to try out the new class. And then after that, they're going to go play something else. So it goes back to what I said. I want them to ideally reinvest more into the world and in the content in the world to keep you engaged during droughts, so that you're having fun in that time frame. So you're enjoying yourself, right? That has to happen at some point. The big problem, though, is that it's, again, now in Amazon's court to figure out how they're going to navigate the situation. I think there's so much they can do in simple communications via live streams, videos to restore confidence, or a good roadmap. I think they have the ability to if they have the ability to alter their schedule of content, they can actually do a lot, but they have to be able to actually do it. From a lot of the changes that have taken place, the game could end up feeling a lot better or fresh just based on some of the things up here. Right? Just based on some of the small things, whether it's the sailing shit, the new Guardian stuff, like all of those small things could end up feeling a lot better. A new raid system it can feel better, right? New world boss stuff. These are good things that make the game feel fresh for the time being. But if people aren't there to experience it, it ultimately doesn't matter. And what I mean by that is all of these things on paper could be really good, but if people aren't playing the game, it doesn't actually matter. So now I think a lot of it has to do with Amazon to see how they have to do a banger event in December. For those of you guys that like fucking really care, they have to do a banger event in December, and they have to do a good job communicating they're going to bring some of these things over as soon as possible, right? As soon as possible. And so for me, I'm at a bit of a crossroads. I woke up this morning, I looked at Dragon Knight, and I'm like, holy fuck, this class looks so sick. And I know Lost Ark is the only MMO for the next year minimum that will, I really have Chrono Odyssey if I like MMOs, guys, and I have Ion 2, which Ion 2 I think will come out at the end of 2026. That's it. There's literally nothing else for me as a player to fulfill the class fantasy thing, because I know Ashes of Creation guys are playing that in 3 days. Yep. I know that I'm not going to get dude, that's how fucking crazy it is, bro. Like, I'm just going to show you on paper, guys. PoE2 Druid. I mean, fine. Look at this shit.
Finally, build up enough rage and you can use one of the bear's ultimate abilities, Walking Calamity. This skill summons a storm of fire.
I think it looks pretty cool, right? There's not that many games, I'm going to find that will fulfill like a super dope combat class fantasy like Lost Ark. So I do want them to do like a good job to fix it. But then at the same time, I feel fucking weird where it's like, bro, like, what do I do? Do I want to make this? Do I want to support the game when they do? You know what I mean? It's fucked, My favorite time of the year is when we get a new class release. It's my favorite thing to do. Like in gaming in general, outside of streaming, guys, I probably would always do this, is when a new class releases, I get to gear it up, doing all of the new raids, swiping to get caught up on day one just to get fighter is one of my favorite experiences, guys. But I think Amazon has a lot to do now to fulfill player confidence. That's the truth, right? You guys want to see hey, this shit's fucked over here. You guys need to do something. You know what I mean? Like, you guys have to do something. And I think on paper, a lot of these things are good. I don't think it was bad, but it lacked that thing that you guys wanted to hear to incite confidence in your friends, people that stop playing, and maybe yourself, right? You wanted a bit more to be like, yeah, that's what I want. But for me, I wrote down a lot and they fulfilled a lot of those things. But it needs to have that wow factor to make sure people are there to experience it, right? People have to be there to experience that stuff. I mean, all these things can be great, but if you're not there to play it, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. For now, I'll wait for the roadmap video. I'll watch a Dragon Knight release tomorrow, see how broken she is after the clappy guy spends a small house on it, and then I'll just, vibe it out. Right now, I just woke up. I'm fucking kind of hungover. I'm still thinking about how I feel about things. I want to see what Amazon has to say about stuff. I don't know what they can do to incite confidence in a lot of you guys. I know a lot of people are like, yeah, these are good changes. Some people are like, this is fucking terrible. I don't think it was terrible, but I do understand you need that thing. And I think a lot of it has to come from, I'm just saying it, bro, has to come from like how we used to have it with Gold River, bro. It's just the truth. Because I showed you this example right here, and tell me that this didn't sound better. Tell me this, what I wrote, guys. Be honest for a moment and no meme. Tell me what I wrote didn't resonate with you way harder. Tell me it didn't give you some confidence and like, oh, they give a fuck. It did, right? And so the way that they communicate stuff, whether it's translated poorly or it's a language barrier or whatever, that's just, you know, that's just like, I mean, for those that say no, that's fine. Maybe the way you see things is different, but I think for a lot of people, it would matter, you know, it would matter. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, the way it said it's matter. Well, it's perspective, right? It's perspective, you know, it's perfect because the changes on paper is good. The vendor is like a really good thing. And the other thing that sucks too is a lot of new player changes. They're good in that fact that you want new people to check out the game, but you're not a new game player. You're not an early game player. And I don't think no matter what they do, the early game player experience will be similar. You know, people will come, they'll check it out. It'll be much better than the last time they played. They'll probably have a lot more fun than the last time they played. They'll probably check out the new class. And then, dude, there's nothing that you can do, guys, to prevent a majority of them from moving on to go try something else. Because people just want to go play something else, you know? They just want to go play something else. And so ultimately what you want is something to keep you engaged in the game, right? Something to keep you happy about the engagement of the game. And I don't think the things that you guys complain about are wrong. You know, I don't think they're wrong. I think a lot of them make a lot of sense. I think a lot of them are fair. A lot of the things I think too. You know, there's some big key points here that I like the reinvestment into the world, but I wanted to see a big gold structural change. I wanted to see a different way of making goals. I wanted another thing I wrote down that I really wanted is I wanted another way to progress in the game outside of raiding. Not just gold. I mean, progression stuff. It's cool. You can make gems and adding values to dailies and stuff like that. But I would like to see like, hey, like the next thing that you get, you know, like for a great, to me, it's like, okay, you know, there's the reset, right? It'd be cool if there's other ways to get soft reset material. I like stuff like that. Anyway, that's really my write-up. You know, that's generally how I feel. I read a lot of different comments, and what I said is what I said. Tomorrow I'm going to watch the Dragonite thing, and then I'm going to see what Amazon has to say. And I have to think about, like, I'm at a weird dude, I want to make Dragonite so bad. I think it looks so fucking cool. Like, it looks so sick to me. But I also don't want people to be upset. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want that either. I don't want that. I want to share something fun. You know? I want to share something fun. I want people to be happy.